In this video, I want to share with you the insights from what I so far have read and heard about the life purpose and what has come from my own encounter and thinking about this topic. First of all, to have a framework of life purpose, I think there are two parts to life purpose. There's a very specific personal type of life purpose, which you have to find for yourself, which is really what you like to do in your own life. But then there's also a kind of universal life purpose for us as human beings, something we share, something that we all can partake in and we all can find meaning in. And some people find meaning in that exclusively, and they don't need like a specific personal kind of life purpose. And so this universal side of life purpose, so far I found it has three basic points to it. And the first one would be to partake in this conscious effort to raise our communal consciousness and to give consciousness, if we see it as the basic fundamental reality that is perceiving or that is giving rise to all the phenomena in this world, in this existence, then we as human beings have the capacity to become a vehicle for an understanding of this consciousness, so to speak, of itself, so that this consciousness becomes aware of what it actually is, of having a realization of true self, of maybe the underlying nature of reality, if you want to call it that way, so that our conscious experience can lead to this one consciousness, that if we step back out of our personal lives, where we feel every person as an individual has one consciousness, but on a fundamental level where all these consciousness are basically one, where this consciousness can have a realization of deeper truth and an insight into what all of this actually is. And so this is one of our universal life purposes, because we humans have this capacity. We are gifted beyond all the other animals and beyond everything else we know so far. We have, according to Buddhism as well, they greatly value the human existence. They say it's a great gift that we have been blessed with, and if we don't use this actually to grow our conscious awareness of existence and use it to the benefit of all beings and all of existence, then we have kind of wasted this life and wasted this opportunity that is given to us as humans. So this is a fundamental life purpose, to make sure that we as humans are living up to that opportunity that we are given. And why is that most people don't really recognize this gift that we are given as human beings? I think it's because of a lack of contrast. It's a lack of something to compare it to. We don't have usually we don't have experiences that tell us how special it actually is to exist as humans and have all these mental capacities that are obviously very rare in nature, because we cannot find them anywhere else. And this gives us just one way that can give us this contrast. And by no means am I recommending this here, but a way in which I experienced a great contrast to this ordinary human existence, and what made me value it greatly was a psychedelic experience. It is when you step out of your natural way to perceive things that you really come back and be able to appreciate it from a point of view that was not accessible to you before. And so this is the first part of the universal life purpose, to be a vessel for consciousness growth. And the second part to the universal life purpose is to develop our capacity to love everything that we experience. What do I mean by this? From what I have read and what I'm researching and what I also experience in my own life, there's always a spectrum to everything we experience. If it is in your senses or how you see the world, what you actually do is you always judge something as to whether it's good or bad for your life, for society, for the planet. It doesn't really matter, but we always just unconsciously in some way put a label on it as, okay, this is good, this is bad. And so we divide reality into more than the one wholeness that it actually is, because we like one part of the spectrum to one side maybe, and we don't like the other part. And we usually have some kind of idea from where it starts to be good and where it starts to be bad. And what this does is actually, it doesn't give us the opportunity to grow, because only when we see that part that we also could call our shadow, is when we see that we get an idea of where we need to look, because that's the possibility for growth and the possibility for advancing our capacity to love that part of reality. It's not easy because usually our persona, who we think we are, is very tightly connected to this idea of what I see as good and bad. Because when you interact with other people, it's always about what do you think is good and what do you think is bad, even though it's not like said in that way. But what you hold as your values is usually something on a spectrum that you think is acceptable, and some other parts of that spectrum, whatever it is, human behavior or something in the other outside world, this is your persona, and to give that up can be difficult. But our universal life purpose, in my opinion, is to love unconditionally and grow our capacity throughout our lives to discover these barriers we bring into the world, and everywhere where we divide this oneness, this wholeness, this one experience we are having into something we like and something we don't like. And to take away that separation is one goal. And from that comes unconditional love. That's what we want, even though we are not conscious of it. And then what's the third part, and what's always people don't talk about when they talk about the personal life purpose that you have to develop in your life and find, and the meaning, is that actually we have all the universal life purpose to find the beauty in life, to see the beauty in what we experience. Because often life purpose is about developing something, bringing something into the world, doing some business, and developing a product, something that's tangible, that's materialistic. And so we forget that, or we don't really consciously think about that it's actually about our direct experience and how we see that, and how we can also develop the capacity to see the beauty in everything that we experience. And without this, I think we will never get anywhere where we feel content with our experience. We have to make part of our effort to evolve. We have to make part of that the capacity to see the beauty in everything. And a way to do that is to become conscious of our existence as a human body, and to feel our physical presence. Because you can only really notice the beauty in the present moment. It's always when we get lost in concepts and thoughts that we forget what we actually are experiencing right now, and we overlook it to a large degree. And I've found in my practice since a good 8 years now, since I started hearing about lucid dreaming, where I heard about the practice of all-day awareness, where I really started at first to try to always notice and keep some part of my awareness in the body. That is when back then I didn't really know what it would do over a long time of practicing this, but since then I've always come back to this practice and try to continuously be aware of my physical sensations. What it does, it never really at some point lets you get off too far into your thoughts, and it keeps you grounded. Somehow the body could be compared to the roots of a tree. If you say the roots of a tree are what grounds or connects it to the earth and keeps it stable, then this is what our physical body is to our human experience. While it can be nice to think about concepts and explain the world to us, we also have to notice that this can get a little bit dangerous in a way, in the sense that we can get lost so far in these concepts that we forget about actually that we are so firmly grounded in our current experience through our physical body. And that's a beautiful thing. You can always come back to your body and experience your life, have an experience through your senses, through your body. And if you keep some part of your awareness in your present experience through what you feel on your skin, throughout your whole body, then this is a really good meditation actually, which is also referred to as all-day awareness. And over time you just cannot help but be so much happier in every present moment because you notice the beauty in it. Thoughts, concepts will still be there, but you will have always some grounding in the present moment if you're aware of your body. That's very beautiful. And so these are my 3 observations about the universal life purpose. I think it's valuable to develop your personal life purpose, to have something that's really suited to you, that influences your work, that motivates you and gives you energy for what you are doing, but then also to never forget about these universal life purposes is valuable too, because you can always come back to them and let what you are doing be guided and influenced by these things that we as humans, I think, are meant to grow through and experience. That's what I wanted to share with you today. I hope you liked the video. As always, see you in the next one.